All right. Chapter 138 of Chainsaw Man just dropped, and we are here to talk about it. Yay. I'll be honest, I don't know what I was trying to draw there. I think I was trying to draw a person getting hit with a baseball bat, but I never completed that. But anyways, let's get right into the chapter. So, chapter 138 of Chainsaw Man is called Sword Man because in this chapter, the Sword Man appears. It's not. It's a pretty self-explanatory title. Not. I don't think there's any double meaning behind it. But as to summarize the chapter, so there are three different scenes. The first is the continuation of the previous chapter. So it looked like Denji was about to fight this new girl, but then she smacks the guy behind him, which some people actually called out from the discussion threads of last chapter as one of the possible options that she's gonna smack someone behind him instead. Uh, and it's a pretty classic movie, trope. It's like, oh, you're gonna hit me, but no, they hit the person behind them. Um, I'm not sure what this guy's plan was because he pulled out a fake gun, and he's not gonna, you're not gonna kill someone with a fake gun. But yeah, I'm pretty sure she just killed that guy over there. She smacked him in the head with the flying baseball bat. And those usually, there's a good chance you might kill someone if you do that in real life. But yeah, so Denji may have just killed about 20 to 30 guys. But anyways, uh it is revealed that this girl is actually sent by Yoshida to protect Denji, to act as his bodyguard. Um, da, da, da. Screenshot. So, the interesting thing is she is actually 22 years old, which either means that she's, an undercovered student or that she's been held back at least 5 years in high school. I mean, which is understandable, it happens to the best of us. Um, she's also um Yoshida actually gave us her full name from the start, and this doesn't happen often because a lot of characters in Chainsaw Man just don't have their full name revealed. Like, to this day, we don't know what Denji's full name is. And the last time I remember that a bunch of characters got their full name revealed was in the drinking party after Denji killed the Eternity Devil. I think Kobeni and Arai introduced themselves and then they told everyone their full names. And I don't think something like that happened again for the rest of the series, where a character, where like an unimportant character, or even the supporting character comes out and then tells people their full name. Usually we either get like their first name or the last name, and that's about it. And but so I looked up the Japanese raw for her name, and give me 1 second. Do. So and I tried to find like the significance of what her name is, and it's so the Mifune part is probably a reference to Mifune Toshiro, who is like the most famous Japanese actor ever, and I assume Fujimoto would have some place in his heart for him. The Umiko part is written in katakana, so I don't think that's as significant. Um, ba ba ba. I did like a quick search to see if there's any association between Toshiro Mifune with anyone named Fumiko in his life, and I couldn't really find anything significant. So I'm just gonna assume that Fumiko is like a random name for now. Anyways. So, Fumiko being like a 22-year-old woman kind of makes you think if Yoshida is also a older man. Because the last time we saw him, he was already in high school, right? He was talking with Kishibe about taking tests and exams. And then there's about a 1.5 year time skip between part one and part two. So it's like at this point, we have to wonder if Yoshida is like still a high school student or is he just pretending to be one? Let me put a quick text note. Yoshida, old man. Let me see. But yeah. Moving on from the scene, so the reason that Fumiko said that she let Denji do his own fighting last chapter is that she was really into the singing and she didn't want to get it interrupted. Which is, she's so quirky kind of moment. And she shows some interest in Denji. And Denji is a bit, what's the word? He is, falling in love, potentially. But anyways, we cut to Asa in her apartment. She's looking at, news coverage of her new heroics. And so here she's talking to Yoru about their newfound fame. Yoru's enjoying it, and then Asa's saying that she's not really enjoying it. She prefers the privacy of her, own life and whatnot. But at the end of the scene, we see Asa with the kind of a, how do you say it? Not quite crazy, but like a step below that. It's a mindless smile. Even though she says she's not enjoying this, she is, because in a lot of ways, she's up to this point, her life is like meaningless, to quote the great low tier god. She's not someone that gets the attention of others, right? She kind of forgotten about by her peers and just about everyone else. So she's craving the attention that she's getting. And it's, in a lot of ways, it's similar to how Denji gets his self-esteem from becoming Chainsaw Man. Because Denji, on his own, he's not someone that gets the attention and respect of others. But for Asa, she doesn't have to have an alter ego to get the attention and admiration of everyone else, because she is herself in public. And man, this is a great face. I love Fujimoto's work on character expressions, and especially in most of his series, it's like how characters feel is often not what they say. And this was especially true in Fire Punch. And if I have to pick only one of like Fujimoto's talent to highlight for the rest of his life, I would say like it's his ability to just draw complex character emotions without saying like explicitly telling us what they're feeling. Because in Fujimoto's works, we don't really get a lot of speech bubbles and thought bubbles. Not speech bubbles, thought bubbles about like how character feel. We are shown and not told, and that's something that I really enjoy. But yeah, let's see what else is going on. Oh, another important thing about this scene is so Yoru and Asa shares thoughts. It's established that like Yoru, she can read Asa's every expression and feeling. So you kind of see that Yoru is a bit frustrated with how Asa is lying to herself and her by extension. And this is not really because Yoru is like a pretty direct person, and then you just, like I said, Fujimoto's really great at depicting emotions with character features, and you can just see the frustration on her face. And not to jerk Fujimoto off too much, but this Asa panel is probably like my favorite, one of my favorite just character expressions. God, it's a great panel. I loved it. But to jump to our final scene of the chapter, as well as the title, the namesake of this chapter, it's Denji meeting the Sword Devil, Sword Man. The Sword Devil fusion guy. Because Denji was looking at Asa's poster. He was a bit flabbergasted. And then this guy shows up to talk to Denji. Let me make a screenshot of Denji's face here, because this is also a great face. Fujimoto's great at drawing expressions. And I think I say that pretty much every stream. But, what can I say? I feel like 10 years from now, if there's anything that Fujimoto influences, it's going to be that like the manga artists of the next generation are going to do like a lot of unique facial expressions. But anyways, Denji meets the Sword Man, and let me find a screenshot of the Sword Man from when he first appeared. So this is the Sword Man when he first appeared as one of Makima's weapons. Very handsome young man. And he pulls up on Denji for some reason. We don't know yet. So one thing that we learn, even though we already know, is that while he was controlled by Makima, he doesn't really remember what happened. And so whether it's because they just don't have the brain capacity to remember, or Makima made them forget, we don't know. Because Makima made Angel forget about what he did, or what she made him do to his village. But likewise, Denji doesn't remember him either, because while he was in the Pochita form, his memory is pretty hazy. He remembers like bits and pieces of it, but he's not going to remember the whole battle. Like, he did remember that Pochita pulled his heart out and then throw it back from outer space back to Japan and all that jazz. This is that scene. But yeah. So one other thing that we kind of learns, where we get a confirmation this chapter, is that Asa, when she switches with Yoru, the scars on her face actually shows up, like in real life. Because previously, it's not clear if that's just like Asa's mental manifestation of the scars, or does it like actually appear in real life? Because when she first put up on Yoshida, and then Yoru switches personalities to ask him out, Yoshida was pretty unfazed by Asa's sudden change in appearance, right? So now that we know that Yoshida saw her face change in front of him, and I don't know if we can attribute that to Yoshida just being used to it. He knows that she's, you know, like devil infected, or he's just, he just doesn't care. But it's nice to get a confirmation at this point. Let's see. But yeah, so for some reason the Swordman is trying to find Benji. And that's the end of the chapter. So I think one takeaway that most people are getting from this is that, we might see Reze again, because she's also a weapons fusion, right? I'll be honest with you. I wasn't the biggest fan of Reze. Like, of all the girls in Chainsaw Man, she would be like bottom three. I did not care for Reze that much. But yeah, but we'll probably see her at some point. I feel Fujimoto might do he might not, just for the sake of, because he did introduce a lot of the other weapons devils. So I feel we might see them first, and then we might get a return for Reze later at some point. But more so than Reze, I'm actually more interested in Quan Chi, because if you remember back when like Quan Chi fought Santa Claus, she was like, "Oh, Quan Chi, you're the first devil hunter." So, and in my head back then, it's like, what the fuck does that mean, right? Because I would assume that humanity as a whole has fought devils for like ever since humans can fight. But then she referred to Quan Chi as the first devil hunter. So it either implies that Quan Chi is like hundreds, thousands of years old, or that like the occupation of devil hunting just started very recently. And I think it's the former, but I would like some more elaboration on that, because they kind of just dropped that bit of info on this and then never spoke of it ever again. But anyways, as for Reze, it's hard to, I don't know, like logically if she would still be in Japan, right? Because like I said, there was like a 1.5 year to 2 year time skip between part 1 and 2. And in theory, it should be pretty hard for her to like just run around in Japan without getting any kind of attention. Realistically speaking, because in the real world, Russian people might stand out in Japan. But this is manga, anime logic, so everyone's ethnicities don't really matter. Let me pull up to the weapons devil chapter to see what our other characters might be like. So all in all, we have the 7 weapons devil. 2 of them, actually 3 of them we already met. The Katana Man, Reze, and Quan Chi. The remaining ones are, let me erase all that. Wait, let me make him stay. So the remaining ones are This guy. I think he was the flamethrower devil fusion. There was the whip lady. No, flamethrower was the other guy. The sketchy looking man. This was flamethrower. Ooh. I don't remember what the glasses guy was off the top of my head. Because he's smoking, so I thought he must be associated with fire. But then I remember this guy is sketchy man. Looks like, I don't know. He looks like he's plotting something. And the whip lady. She wears her jacket like an admiral from One Piece. Okay, so that's our 4 unintroduced weapons hybrids. And oh no, that's the spear guy. And then that's the flamethrower. I specifically remember flamethrower because he was going to burn Pochita, and then he said, "Let's burn, baby," or something really corny, and I felt like that line could have been left out. Alright. So, just a wild guess. I think we're gonna see, I think we're gonna see her first. The sketchy man, and then him last. But I'm not sure. This guy reminds me of someone from a Hunter x Hunter, but I can't put my finger on who. There were so many sketchy characters in there. But yeah. Anyways, not a whole lot this chapter in terms of predicting the future of the series. But we got some cool character introductions and reintroductions. And then we got some interesting look at Asa's personality and how she is changing with her new role. And it's a pretty cool chapter overall. I enjoyed it. Good amount of info dump and a good amount of what do you say? How do you say it? Like not exactly a cliffhanger, but it ends on a note that keeps me very interested in the next. As usual, let me take a quick look at the chapter to see if I missed anything. I guess that's it for me for this week. There's a chapter next week, so I'll do a stream next week. Yeah. All right. See you guys.